What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Hustle Huddle. I'm here with my boy
Christian Roddy
and my boy.
The song.
Yeah, you can have a mic on. So let's get into it. How was your week?
Week is good. We out here in San Diego. Not so sunny this week. Had a ton of rain, a little flooding, but life is good. Gym's good. January's popping.
It's a fact.
How's your week been, man? It looks like it ended a little rough.
Anyways,
how's your week?
My week has been good, other than yesterday, but it was solid. January workout's been good. Went golfing. Did pretty decent on the golf course. Did pretty decent on the golf course. Hooped. Had a dunk on y'all little boys.
Man, you didn't touch that goddamn rim.
I was bodying these.
It was low-key your shots. It was killing us.
I was bodying people. Hey, my shot was on, too.
Shit was making me mad.
Laser beam over here. I had to put them out of their misery. And then, the Chargers game, unfortunately. Yep. So.
Hey, don't try to just skip over that. Real quick, so everyone's listening to this on Tuesday. And by the way, if you're listening and you want to catch us in video, you can find us at YouTube. But obviously, we just had the Chargers lose 27.
Why Josh Allen trying to push this whole big lineman right now?
Yo, I love that Allen wasn't moving, though. That's a big boy.
That is a big boy. See, that's a ride or die. Yeah, they on it. They whooping his ass. If y'all didn't know, Buffalo and Miami playing right now. Josh Allen over here moving the quarterback, was getting pushed around by the O-line. The D-line, and then the O-line came up and started throwing the little boys.
Thanks. But Chargers were up 27-0 at half.
Yeah.
One of the biggest comebacks in playoff history. Third biggest comeback in playoff history.
Yeah.
Only time when the team lost after giving up 4 turnovers. Or only team to win after giving up 4 turnovers in playoff history. But how's that? How you feeling?
Stupid. Yeah, no, that was rough. It was a rough watch. I low-key got sick watching that. I didn't even finish it. I just left. I left at like 2 minutes because I knew they were about to score.
Damn.
After they got the conversion on their third with 2 minutes left, I was like, oh yeah, they're just gonna run out the clock.
Yeah,
they're gonna win.
I wasn't necessarily worried. Because the Chargers are a really good team. Obviously, as a Chiefs fan, we play you guys 2 times a year, and it's kind of like it's always a dogfight. I've never felt once that we've blown out the Chargers while they've had majority of their starters.
Yeah.
And so, even though the Jaguars were establishing this crazy comeback, I'm like, no way. This is still a good team. They'll get something to finish it, put the pin in it.
They went on a 28-3 run in the half.
Yeah, I think
that's crazy.
I think I didn't really think you guys were losing. You're going to lose this game until you miss that field goal with 3 minutes left.
Dicker, the kicker, knocks down a 50-yard field goal in the first half, then comes out. Oh, no, in the second half. Second half, he knocks down a 50-yard field goal. Mm-hmm. Then comes out, misses a fucking 28 or 30-yard field goal. Oh, my God, bro. Come on. He's never missed a field goal like that in, his whole, preseason, not preseason, but regular season games. But now in playoff game, he fucking misses a 30-yard field goal. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I'm just angry. Because that could have just even if he would have made the field goal, we would have been up by what? We would have been up by 5. So they would have had to score a touchdown, and they were still in range to probably score a touchdown just based off their momentum that they had anyway.
Yeah, because they kicked that field goal to end the game.
Yep.
On a second down, they called a timeout, really ate up a lot of clock. So theoretically, it could have still been in a different situation.
I don't know. And what's crazy is I like Brandon Staley too, because I do like him as a head coach, but something's not happening, so they need to get him up out of there. Sean Payton wants to come over, so
Sean Payton out there for everybody. Everybody's trying to interview him.
Sean Payton literally said, "I want to go to L.A."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
No, he said, "I'm trying to go to L.A."
That's crazy. So if you were part of the Spanos family or part ownership of the Chargers,
I'm firing Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, is dog water. He's garbage. Get him out of there. Put someone in there that's going to understand how Justin Herbert plays, how his arm plays, how the O-line plays, and how you have so many weapons on the offense and you're not utilizing them how they should be. We should be airing out balls instead of running fucking third down plays, third and ones and runs. We're not throw the ball. These 5 and outs, I get it. We're going to march up the field with 5 and outs, but you don't miss 2 5 and outs, bro. It's a wrap. They're all they're going to do is play press coverage because you're not going to throw it downfield, and you're never going to throw it downfield because Joe Lombardi's an idiot and doesn't care about Justin Herbert's cannon of arm, and I just don't understand why he doesn't like focus on utilizing Justin Herbert more and his weapons more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even in the first half, it wasn't like they were being very aggressive. But in the second half, when you have a team coming up on you, I felt like you guys were still playing pretty reserved. Obviously, they were getting great pressure.
We're playing like we won the game and we're just trying to run down the clock. That's how they were playing.
A little bit. Like, obviously, the Jaguars were getting some pretty good defensive pressure, and, like, Herbert had to exit the pocket a couple of times.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't see any strategy change to create opportunities once he's out of the pocket.
5 and outs.
Yeah.
5 and outs. That's literally it. Slants, 5 and outs.
Yeah.
Bro, switch it up. And then you're running into Kelly like every other back. Bro, give it to Austin Eckler. I have never seen Kelly get that many touches in a game. But now we're giving like less touches to Austin Eckler when we know that we can get 4 to 5 yards with Austin Eckler every carry, like bare minimum. And yet we're not giving it to Austin Eckler. And then of course Mike Will was out, so like that doesn't help.
How do you feel about him being out? Because he was out due to him playing in Week 18, right?
Yeah.
And sustained the injury in Week 18.
Yeah, he had like a lower back injury.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like I get why Brandon Staley didn't pull everyone out is because he wants to keep them warm and like wants to keep them
Which I think is the right call.
motivated. Yeah, which is good. And pull them out in the third quarter, but like you can't predict injuries.
Freak injuries.
Yeah, like you can't predict that. Like so I don't blame Brandon Staley for that. Like everyone's gonna be like, oh, Brandon Staley should pull people out at the half, and then it's like, bro, like they just want to have that momentum of continuous like play. This way they don't lose their their swag on the field.
100%. Stay connected, stay warm, have a rhythm. And I wouldn't say Brandon Staley's on the hot seat, even with the first round exit.
Oh, he's on the hot seat.
Well,
100%.
He is based on like the media and the organization, but me as like an NFL fan, without all this pressure and Sean Payton and things like that, looking at the season, I'd like, there was a lot of adversity. There was a lot of injuries. He was changing his offensive line.
I think he did great.
Didn't have his healthy receivers all year. You had
I think
Herbert
did great.
Yeah, you had Herbert with rib issues. Like, honestly, to put together the first time in, was it 8 years, of clinched playoffs? Not like...
No, 2018 was last appearance.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Not as like a... Okay, we'll just run with that then. Yeah, because I don't remember what stat I was trying to think of.
2018 was last playoff appearance for them.
So 2018, and he made it there. And like obviously, you have a first round exit, but typically you wouldn't fire a coach in that situation.
Oh, that was Brandon Staley's first playoff appearance with the Chargers.
Yeah. So usually I'd like, hey, let him try to get this team healthy, build a little bit more around it, send him again, rather than firing, rebuilding.
Because he's getting so much backfire from last season of like taking the ballsy like fourth down plays, which I'm all for. Like I say go for fourth down plays. But
he already fixed that this season.
Yeah, which he did. He fixed that this season, and then I guess he's just gonna get some heat from again the Week 18 game of not pulling his starters out.
Yeah.
But and then again
and not being able to make adjustments.
That's a big hit. And not being able to make adjustments. But again, it's not on Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley did great. I just think that something has to change, and if we're not changing Brandon Staley and we're not changing Joe Lombardi, which probably Joe Lombardi is not going to get fired, which he should get fired. I think Joe Lombardi is the whole reason why the Chargers aren't good. Is because we run the same plays every day, like every game. We're not running anything different, and people catch on with that. That's why during the half they're like, cool, they're going to run the same shit. That's why we lose every other half. That's why we lose every half of the game. Because we're running the exact same plays. We're not switching shit up. We're not throwing deep balls. We're not doing different type of runs. We're not doing different type of slants. Like, no, we're doing the same thing. Yeah. And coaches are like, cool, like this is what we planned for. Chargers are going to come out the same way. So, like, let's execute. Let's play press coverage. Let's start blitzing. And we're just going to fire on all cylinders.
Yeah. How do you feel about your guys' defensive performance?
That was garbage.
4 takeaways?
Well, so first half.
3 picks?
First half was immaculate. First half was like, if they would have played like that for the first half, throughout the whole game, bro, 4 picks in one half, and they still win, bro. That's crazy. Yeah. And then Asante Samuel was the corner that caught 3 of them, and that was like the first time in any post game for one corner to catch 3 interceptions in a postseason game.
Yeah.
So that was dope. But in the second half, it just people getting wide open, run plays, a lot of penalties in the second half, like shit that just was not going our way. And I think the defense did good, but getting put 28 points on in a second half is not good.
No,
you should never have 28 points put on you.
Sheesh, that's rough. I appreciate you even talking about this today because I swear to God, on some of the old back in the day Chief seasons, like when we had Matt Castle, Alex Smith, and like Alex Smith was good, and we were like competing in the AFC for playoffs contention, and we even made it into the first round a couple times. When we'd have some of those heartbreaking losses, bro, I'd literally delete some people off Facebook because they come after you. They're like, "Hey, where you at now? We're the Chiefs," and like, "Oh, didn't expect much less." I'm like, "Nah, you out." delete, block, because I couldn't handle that.
No, I legit was like, bro, I'm over this shit. Like I was so pissed off yesterday. I was so tight. Like angry. I was still tight thinking about it. Yeah. That shit gets me so angry. Like there's so much stuff that look, and then right there, 31-30, bro. That's crazy. Damn. Oh my God.
Why do we get so invested in that? Like, why does that hurt us so much? Like I've literally
because we played football before.
Yeah,
and then we just find attachment in that team because we're like, oh, that's just like the team thing that we want. Like we want that camaraderie, we want that challenge, we want the sport.
And so, like, the fans are almost like an extension of the team?
Yeah, and we just get fucking invested into it as if we're
so
like
you feel like you lost too?
Yeah, I feel like I lost too. Of course, yeah, some people are like, wow, that's fucking weird. But it's just like anything that, like, anyone gets emotionally connected to, they're going to feel, like, some type of connection towards it. And that's just – it just hits us different because, obviously, we played football. And we've been there and we've been in those, like, playoff losses or we've been in championship losses or just – regular losses, and they just don't feel good. Yeah. Especially when you know that your team tried like super hard and like you know that you're the better team and you still lost because of some fuckery. So
some crazy stuff.
You're just like, goddamn.
And it's like you are invested, whether you want to look at it like emotionally or whatnot. But it's like imagine how many hours you've spent watching your team.
Oh, bro, I've been watching the Chargers since I was like fucking 13, bro. I can't even remember.
And so it's like all that time you spend with them, the highs, the lows, like, bro, you're invested.
Yeah, I'm invested. You know, there's no thing that I'm going to every Sunday and watching. Like, of course I'll be invested. So that's the only reason why. Plus, like, you're going out to the games, you're going out to the fans, you're wearing the jerseys, like, you're doing all of it.
Yeah. But so I heard this, a couple people shared this recently on Instagram, and I thought it was pretty cool. But it's like for example, like we have to have these low moments so that we can enjoy the times. Like we go to the Super Bowl and shit like that.
Yeah.
The guy was saying he was at a therapy session and he was tired of life being so up and down. And he just turned 30 and his therapist is like, well, why does that bother you so much? And he's like, again, like, why can't I have just like this baseline of like good? Like, why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to have great? Why can't I just have good all the time? And she's like, have you ever seen like a heart monitor, like the EKG machine, and it goes up and down?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you were to like die, that's when it would be in the middle. Like that's when it flatlines. It's just that dead flat. And it's like, it's not negative. It's not good. And it's like, you have to have those peaks and valleys to kind of like live is what the therapist was saying.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you don't have these lows, these gut wrenching, like, wow, we lost by fucking 1 point, we're out of the playoffs again.
Yeah.
Will make it that much more enjoyable when you just
win
like
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You're like, you go to the game, you win, you're like, and I think that correlates a lot with life too, is because they do put so much on the line. You're so invested in it. And then you have these emotional downfalls, but it's like the high you feel when like you do something great in life or your team wins on a Sunday and you're like, yes, bro.
It's
like
about time. Let's go.
Like, but if they just won all the time, it gets almost a little boring. Like if your team, like, again, it's enjoyable. Like, because then as a competitor, you're like, yeah, that's what it is. But I could tell you the upswing that I felt with the Chiefs over the last 5 years is so much more enjoyable because they were shit. They weren't shit with Alex Smith, but like prior to even having Andy Reid 10 years ago, we were dog water.
Only one Super Bowl.
Hey.
And it was like back in 1980.
Yeah. And it was just so many years of being bad. And then finally, like now we're putting together all these good years. Like it feels amazing. So you got to ride those lows. But again, you got to change something about them so you can get into some of those highs.
Yeah, that's a fact. Just riding a bunch of lows right now.
Man, taking more
Bunch
L's.
of downers, bro. We need to get on some uppers already.
In the beginning of the season, you obviously had some high hopes for the Chargers.
Hell yeah.
Would you say this met expectation, underperformed expectation, or exceeded expectation?
I mean, going to the playoffs for sure exceeded expectations.
You didn't think you guys? It's like obviously you're like Chargers going to the Super Bowl, but realistically, you think going to the playoffs?
I thought we were going to go to the Western Conference Final.
Okay, the AFC Championship game.
AFC Championship, yeah, the AFC Western Conference.
I was like, hey, NBA.
The NBA. Yeah, the AFC Championship game. So
then this underperformed expectations?
Underperformed just because I feel like if the team was healthy all season, then we probably would have been number 1 seed. We would have took the Chiefs out twice.
Damn.
Unfortunately.
This man wildin'.
Because y'all beat us by a field goal on the first game when 50% players were ready. And then in OT with the walk-in touchdown when we had again.
So what was your guys' record? Do you know?
Back then?
No, this season.
Now? Yeah, this season, 10-7.
10-7. So you would have had to win 4 more games to have a chance at the number 1 seed? Maybe 5, because right now, like the Bengals were
they
13-3, they would have been 14-3, or they would have been 13-4. So yeah, you would have had to have 4 more wins.
So the Broncos' last game win, where we took out like half our starters, we should have won that game.
Okay.
But like if it was a battle of the seats, then they could have definitely won that game if they had all their starters in.
Okay.
Both the Chiefs games, I feel like we could have won both of those for sure.
Okay.
The first appearance with the Jags, we got blown out. And I think we should have won that game just because, again, 50% healthy, and I just don't know what the fuck they were doing.
Okay. Wait, so the second time you played the Chiefs, everybody was healthy?
Not everybody was healthy. We still had Mike.
But you had Keenan Allen. He was out. But he played only. Keenan was in the second game.
No.
Yeah, he was. I promise.
Keenan Allen?
He was out the first game.
Oh, no, yeah. Mike Will played only for
part of the game because he was still suffering from his ankle injury.
And then Keenan Allen left, too, because he had a hamstring injury. They both left.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because Keenan Allen had a hamstring injury, and that's why he left.
I'll look that up later, but yeah.
And then Joey Bosa was out. Joey Bosa didn't
the second game?
Yeah, he didn't come playing until these last 2 games.
Oh. I don't think Bosa was there.
And then Derwin James was out, too. Oh no, Derwin James was there. Derwin James slammed.
Yeah, he played in both games.
Derwin James slammed Travis Kelce on his back.
I think
and then Rashad Slater is gone. He's still out.
Okay,
that's one of our best O linemen. And then a couple of our D linemen are still out, and another O lineman tackle. Our tackle is out.
So hopefully win more games, have better seeding, and then you think you beat whoever comes in the second round, Chiefs, Jags, whatever, and then you think you guys pop. The expectation would get to the AFC Championship game and then face either Chiefs, Bills, or Bengals.
Yeah.
Okay. So underperformed expectations.
Just because unhealthy teams.
When you underperform expectations, if you ever do in life, hopefully you don't.
Never in my life.
How do you kind of react? How does that make you feel? What do you do next time?
If I'm underperforming, I think that's not comparable just because if I'm underperforming, that's just me being lazy. Them underperforming kind of out of their control when 50% of their team is down. Out of Brandon Staley's control again. If they're underperforming because it's like some stuff that's kind of out of their control. So just a little side note, kind of unrelatable, but if I am underperforming, then
or just not meeting expectations set upon you or externally.
Again, if it's expectations or underperformance, then that's me just being lazy. And unless there is a really good reason why I'm not underperforming, like it's something out of my control because I control the controllables. So if I can perform, then obviously I'm going to perform to like over exceeding expectations. But if I can't, then that's something that's out of control like that. I can't control. So if it's like an injury or if it's like I had a headache one day or like migraine, like that stuff I can't control. So like if I can control the controllables, then I should just be overperforming and exceeding in anything I do.
Right on.
What about you?
I think you had a good point because when it comes to expectations, whether set upon myself or externally, I think if I'm not meeting them, again, it's going to be part due to being lazy, but also when it comes to beating myself or not beating myself up, because I think that's the gap where you could either make a change to where you start on a path of progress, or you kind of sit there and marinate longer in your frustration of not meeting expectations. And what you were saying is control the controllables. So like I have it tattooed on my chest. It's a serenity prayer, and it says like, now, whether you're religious or not, you take out the God part. So the quote is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and then wisdom to know the difference. And it's like when I live by that or I think about that, it's kind of like, hey, you got to be okay with the things you can't control. Like you have to understand that and like live with that. You can't sit on it. Like if the refs called a bad play, like I can't change that. There's nothing I can do about that. I could write something to the NFL, whatever. But it's like, I can't live in that moment forever. You have to have the courage to change the things you can. So it's like, if you didn't meet expectations due to something you did have control over, like you have to own that and like, cool, I'm going to make that difference. Like, even if it's hard work, then I got to put in that work. And then the wisdom to know the difference is understanding that. Because if you don't understand the difference between the two, you're always going to be frustrated about not being able to change things you can't control, rather than putting a game plan in effect that could change the things that are in control. You are in control over. Like if it's like, hey, I need to wake up 30 minutes earlier every day, then it's like set that alarm clock 30 minutes earlier. It's in your control. If there was a car accident on the 15 freeway, that's not within my control.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to know that.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely when it comes down to like beating yourself up, you definitely don't want to do that, just because especially if it's something you can't control. I mean, I'd say beat yourself up if you're being lazy and like, you can control the situation. Like you for sure should beat yourself up. Like,
yeah,
you're the own bad guy for sure.
In a sense, but it's like, I think we talked about on a way earlier episode, we're both terrible at being late.
Yeah.
Our time management's atrocious.
His is a little worse than mine.
What? What did he say? But like, getting mad at yourself isn't always the greatest game plan, rather than just like, hey, the strategy I'm currently using is not effective. I need to change it. Like if I'm getting mad at myself because I slept in, like I can get mad at myself all day, but it's like, if that doesn't create change, then it doesn't help. Yeah. Rather than like, hey, the strategy I'm currently using is not effective. I need to change it. Yeah. That way it's like, it's not like, I'm not a bad person. I'm not the problem. The strategy that I'm deploying or utilizing is not working.
Yeah, if you're over there getting angry at yourself with no like change, then yeah, don't do that. If you're just fucking having a tantrum, then yeah, no, don't do that. But definitely, I'd say be angry at yourself if you're like not making change, for sure. Yeah, like, and if you know that you can control stuff and control the controllables, again, like make the change to control it in the right direction you want to go to.
Mm-hmm. And I think when you come to that realization, it gives you a lot of power back.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like what we were talking about before, like what separates successful people and not successful people, it's a lot of time your choices. Yeah. So when you stay in the frustration stage of not meeting expectations, it doesn't always give you power. When you start to think about, what am I in control over? What am I not in control over? Let me go deploy my resources, time, energy in making changes. Yeah. It gives you a lot of power back, because now you're in charge of the choice again. You're in charge of your plan. Yeah. When you're frustrated and you can't even identify what's controllable and what's not controllable, it makes you have a feeling of no power.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of ownership, as you get to control like exactly your own life.
So when you guys are talking about changing pretty much your process to get something done, obviously people talk about that a lot, but what do you guys do in particular to make that attractive, to make that change? Because a lot of people will continue to wake up the same time over and over and over again and know the solution, but don't make that change. So what's that branch?
It's you, bro. You got to make the choice.
Are you saying like what makes the process appealing?
What's that process for you guys?
Or like what makes, what's a trigger? I would
assume that you would have to make it appealing, because then people would, if everything was appealing or that process was appealing, then you would do it immediately. But for a lot of people, it's not like waking up in the morning earlier. It's like, oh, well, I have to spend more time getting ready, or there's a gap of time that now what do I do with that time? Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know. That's because it's a good, like, I'm to blame for like one of those things. Like I hate waking up early with a passion, and like, but I guess if I see the value in waking up early, like I'll wake up early every day to go golf for sure, because I see the value to go golf. But if I don't see the value in like me waking up early just to get to where I gotta go like a little bit like on time? Like, is there anything that's gonna get me like, what am I gonna get like in trouble for being to this spot late by like a couple minutes? If not, or is it just frowned upon? Because like if it's just frowned upon, I'm gonna just take the L. Yeah, I guess. But if it's like one of those things where like, hey, like this is your ass. Like if you get here late, like if I'm like late to my own wedding, then for sure, like that's something that I shouldn't be late for. Yeah. But if it's like me being late to brunch, like this nigga can wait. Roddy can wait.
Yeah, I'll have a mimosa while I'm waiting. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
So like,
But
it just has to be. I think it has to have like the value behind whatever like your process is. Like there has to be some type of value in between there
How do you
because
build that value.
that's on your own too.
yeah,
People-
because I think right there,
Everything isn't like
I'll wake
in
up.
retrospect to your own type of value.
Yeah, I'll wake up early to go golf because there's a sense of instant gratification. I immediately get to golf.
Yep.
If I want to wake up early to be 20 pounds lighter in 3 months, and that's going to take chipping away at a workout every morning, that's a delayed gratification. I'm not going to see my 20 pound less body. I'm not going to feel my 20 pound less body until I get there. Today, tomorrow, this week, I'm not going to get instant gratification from that outside of the endorphins and sense of accomplishment of actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then also the repercussions. So like if you think about like conditioning or dog training, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. The immediate positive reinforcement, I get to golf.
I get to golf. I get to hit dingers.
If I'm late, the immediate negative reinforcement, I probably paid for that tee time in advance. Now I can't play if I'm late. Exactly. I have now wasted and lost immediately $60 to $100. If I fail to wake up early to go to the gym, I didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
I lost.
Have to, like in your brain, trick yourself that that's the thing that you're losing.
So
build the value around something.
Because like,
go ahead.
It goes back to again like how we were talking about last week is like instant gratification over delayed gratification. Like we're in such a mindset of instant gratification where like even if it is like going into the gym, like you have to train your brain into thinking that that is instant gratification, which it is. Like, hey, like if I did wake up early, like now I'm getting a great workout in, and like now I get the endorphins from like that amazing workout. So you have to trick your brain into thinking like, hey, like that's the instant gratification I'm getting versus the delayed gratification is me losing my weight loss journey.
You could even have instant gratification by looking at your delayed gratification, being like, I want to be jacked or I want to lose this amount of weight.
Yeah.
And that's immediately the thing that you think about when you wake up in the morning.
It could, yeah. But it's a muscle that you have to train.
There was a pick. I'm sorry.
Damn. And he might go to the crib with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm reading this book called Atomic Habits.
Ooh.
And one of the things that it says when trying to create a new habit is to kind of shift your perception of your own identity. So, I don't know, for an example, it's like somebody who smokes a lot and they can't stop, or they're trying to stop.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, I don't smoke anymore. If somebody offers you a cigarette, it's, no, I don't smoke. It's not, I don't smoke anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. You do have to kind of trick your or change your identity to be like, I'm not a smoker.
Yeah, I'm not a smoker.
Your perception, everything like that.
Yeah, or like for you guys, like I'm bad with my time management, or like I'm not great with my time management. Instead of that, it's like no, I'm fine with showing up on time.
And if you change the mindset,
and if you continuously tell yourself that subconsciously, you're not going to allow yourself to just be like, oh, I'm late to everything.
Somebody brought that similar kind of thing up with a smoker. They're like, hey, do you want to smoke? Or it was like, hey, do you want to drink? And he's like, nah, I'm like, I don't smoke anymore. I'm 100 days like clean or something like that. And then like the guy's like, why are you counting?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, to be successful. And he's like, well, stop saying like to that point, I'm not a smoker anymore. Like I've gone 100 days without smoking. It's like, no, you're not. You don't smoke anymore.
You don't smoke.
Or you don't smoke.
Yeah.
Like don't count the days because like what is that to like, which it's different for everybody. But in that situation, he's like, it's forever now. You don't. Are you going to count forever? Like just say you don't smoke anymore. And then also like
63 years sober.
yeah,
It's like you're still holding on to it.
Yeah.
a little bit, right?
You know?
And
It gives it sense of like a sense of like
You're giving it.
it's always
power.
and you're it's always there. Then you're like bringing it along with you. And it's also like the perception of like changing the things that might seem like work. Like it's like, oh, I have to wake up early to go work out to get to my goals. It's like, no, I get to wake up and get to work out. Like that's awesome. Like and find enjoyment in the process. The journey, the little steps are correlated. They're attached to the goal you want. And sometimes, like I was reflecting later, and I sent you guys the meme. But it's with these things, yeah, there are a lot of tricks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's the little choices we make, and everybody gets in line. If you had two lines, and one was the uncomfortable truths, and then you have comfortable lies, and it's like everyone's going to line up for the comfortable lies. They don't want to hear the uncomfortable truth. That it's them, their decisions, their mindset, their habits that are keeping them away from getting to their things they want to do.
100%. Yeah. Definitely take some ownership in your life.
Yeah. I guess as we're talking about ownership, expectations, we have some good goals, good expectations for this year. Not that you have to achieve things in certain timelines, but now that you're halfway through January,
Sheesh.
how you feeling so far?
Good.
Like you're on track, hitting those goals?
Track. On track. You feel me?
There you go.
What about you?
No.
Damn. Damn. Get your ass moving. What you waiting for, bro?
Facts.
What are you waiting for?
Being a dick. Nothing.
Yeah, you are.
I'm waiting for life to come to me rather than me come to life.
Yay.
So, no, it's good. I mean, fitness has been really easy to maintain this year because obviously I had the early start. Podcast has been good. We've been keeping that going. I got a couple of things that we need to implement so that make sure that we're successful long term.
100%. Hey, that's good. Get your ass on track. And if y'all ain't on track to get y'all goals, definitely get on track. Hey, I know it's only been half a month of January, but it's been a half a month of January already. So if you ain't doing nothing, then I'd start getting out there and do something today.
Yeah, don't wait. Use this as the pivot.
Hey, don't do it tomorrow. Do it today. You feel me?
Yes,
Don't
sir.
wait till tomorrow. Do it today.
I like that.
Let's get out there. Do something.
Get out there and do something.
Get out there and hustle.
Appreciate you guys rocking with us.
You know what you can do? Tell them what they can do.
You can find us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, and if you listen to the audio version of this, you can find us on YouTube. Go like and subscribe, damn it.
Hype, bro. You just slapped his mic.
Yeah, bam. If you ain't following us yet.
This is you, boy.
And don't forget,
Hustle is the only controllable pillar of success, god damn it. So unlike Roddy, make sure you out there hustling, god damn it. I'm just kidding. He gonna hustle here pretty soon.